How do I stop procrastinating? I find this question to be so funny and ironic because I literally procrastinated on this video. I was like, okay, I saw the question, all right, I'm gonna get to it. And then I just fell asleep. I've been working hard the other couple of days, so I needed that rest, and now I feel so much better. So I feel like the way to beat procrastination is to have a system. Okay, so you need a system that, for me, like when I get ready for a video, I do some skincare, I do some lip gloss, some mascara, so I don't just look like a dead person talking to camera. So this little routine that I do is less than like 5 minutes. It helps me get excited for what I'm about to do, which is to film this YouTube video. And I find that having little systems like that in place really help you be like, okay, so I have to change my environment right now. I have to get up so that I can do this thing. Another thing that I see a lot of my creative friends do, I mean, we can't really do this right now because we're in COVID, but they would go to like different places to do their work. So that added novelty of being somewhere new was fun, and that would like drive your adrenaline up, and then you would want to work there, like bring your laptop, a cup of coffee, and then just start working. Since we can't do that now, I have an alternative, and it's cleaning your space. I don't know if you are a clean person or not, but for me, I am. And if my space is messy like the way it is right now, I do not want to do any work. But say you have like your little office area and it is clean and you still don't want to do the work. Okay, now we gotta talk about your priorities. Is there a deadline? If there's a deadline, you need to look at the weeks and then schedule little days where you're going to work on a task because you have to meet that deadline, right? That is a must-have. So even just scheduling little days in between weeks really helps to just check in with yourself. Like, okay, so I was told I have to do this proposal. Oh man, it's going to feel like so much if I just do it in one day. That's kind of how I feel about making mood boards, developing concepts, and figuring out the teams that I want to work with. So what I do is I just try to break it up and be like, okay, so this day I'm just going to do research. Simple tasks, literally on Pinterest, doing research, looking at some books, so easy. I made it fun for myself. Another day rolls up. Okay, so now, I'm engaged. I'm excited. So now I'm just gonna, get my little photo grid and I'm gonna build up my mood board. I want this, and then now I'm even more excited. So when you continuously get that excitement of you're excited to do something, you're going to want to finish it. So I just finished all my mood boards that one day. I didn't plan for it to happen, I just did. Sometimes I feel like when I plan for things specifically, like this day I'll do this, this day I'll do this, this day I'll do this, and the tasks at hand are pretty big, I will not do it. Even though I wrote it in my journal, do this today, I won't do it because I'll be like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't feel like doing it. But if I can make the task really fun and it doesn't take a lot of time, I can do it because I'm like, okay, I know, I'll go on my phone, do some research, okay, I'll build a little mood board. So I feel like it's literally the perception of the work you're doing. You have to find a way to make it fun for yourself. Like, oh, maybe if you don't want to do something, why don't you play some good music? Why don't you dance a little, get into the groove? Like if it's editing, editing can be like, especially for a client, but say you play some good music, so you treat yourself to like your favorite fruit, your favorite food, and it's in front of you and you're like, oh, I'm having a good time kind of vibe. Then you'll be in the right environment and you will want to work because you're like, I feel good, I look good, and you'll start working, and it's crazy. And people in school, the thing that they procrastinate the most about is like when there's like a blank page. I know it can feel so overwhelming, guys, but once you just type in like your name in the little corner, your date in the little corner, like you do all these little things, it sets you up to actually finish it because you've already started it. And when you start something like that, something new and something just like little by little, you'll want to finish it because it's just like, oh, that was easy. But if you say you just like stare at this blank page and you just keep thinking about it and keep thinking about it, you're not going to get anything done because your thoughts are like everywhere. You have to ground yourself in that moment and just sit your ass down and look what you have to do. Organize it in your head and prioritize what you want to get done. To not procrastinate is to be proactive in anything that you're doing. And I also find that it helps you have meaning in the things you do. Like, I know work can just be work, but if you can find a way to, maybe make it more meaningful for you, maybe you find another way to explore what you already did, but you do it in another way. Maybe it's watching a YouTube video or just any kind of learning video that gives you like ideas. Because guys, when we have ideas, we just want to go off. We are creatives, right? So that's the best thing about us, is that we should listen to our ideas and put it into our work so it doesn't feel so mundane, right? Another thing to not procrastinate, not give yourself entertainment first. You need to treat it as, if you finished A, you get a reward after, okay? And that reward doesn't take the whole day. Give yourself like 10 to 15 minute break in between the things you do so that your mind can cool off. Because one thing why we procrastinate is, one, we feel so overwhelmed. Our mind takes over our body that we just don't want to do it, okay? Last night I was setting up my Patreon and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna procrastinate and everything. But then, I found like an example of something that I wanted, and this is something that I really want to do for myself. Like, I have a true purpose and a true meaning. So you know what? I sat there last night and I did everything, and I was so fucking proud. And I was just like, good job, Lena. Because sometimes you need to tell yourself you did a good job. And especially if you do something, right? Maybe you're doing it for like at 30 minutes to an hour. I'd say 30 minutes is a good amount of time to get your work done, because it makes you realize, whoa, I did all of that. Because something that we creatives have is called flow, and it's literally when we can't think about anything else and we're just in our zone, And I get that immediately when I started my Patreon thing and like setting up tiers. I just had flow. I lost track of time and I did it. And I think to get this flow, you really have to be here in the present, You can't be worried about the future. Like, what if this doesn't look good? What if that doesn't look good? Like, you're just so too worried. You're too anxious that, of course, you're not going to get shit done because you're like, you don't want to do it. So you have to find a way to make yourself want to do it, to make yourself want to have fun again. And, if it is a task that is just point blank not fun, sit your ass down and do it for like 10 minutes and see, okay, can I do it in 10 minutes? Okay, if you can, good job. Can you continue? Do it in 20 minutes. Just sit down, no distractions, hide your phone, hide everything, play some good music, and just see how much you can get done. And if you can get it done, good job. Start increasing the time, but don't forget to give yourself a break in between, because you will burn out, my friend. I had a headache and I was like, oh man. So I took like a little break, I ate something, and then I went right back to it and I finished it. And I was like, wow, I didn't think I could finish all of that, but I did. And I feel like when it's unexpected like that, you're just like, wow, I'd say if it's not like a work procrastination thing, if it's like comes to planning, like hanging out with your friends and doing things like that, I would just have a bullet journal, where what days lie, and then the exact date, and when you're gonna meet that friend. I just think in that case, that procrastination, it'll tell you how much you really value your friendship. Because if you're procrastinating on seeing a friend, it kind of feels like, oh, maybe that friend isn't a good fit in your life because you don't want to hang out with them or create with them, or you're just too busy doing other things. You just need balance in your life. And I don't think it's wrong to, not want to hang out with friends. I think you should have strong boundaries and be like, oh, you know what? I just want to rest today. And your friend should just understand that. And then you don't have to worry about, procrastinating with your friend when we're going to do this, when we're going to do that. But say it's a friend that you really care about, then of course you're going to make time for them. Of course, right? Because you want to be there for them. You want to listen to them. You want to create with them. You want to have fun with them. So I feel like if you're procrastinating in that kind of a way, or in a relationship, your values and your priorities, it comes through in your actions, whether you like it or not. So I would just look at the type of actions you make, and does it make sense for you, and all these things, and just just take a little time to analyze yourself without being so self-critical, because that will just ruin the type of mood to even want to look deeper into yourself. But sometimes when you look at your previous actions, you can learn a lot from yourself, and it comes from learning from your mistakes. Like procrastinating, if you had a bad experience in your life where you procrastinated your ass off and it resulted in a really bad punishment, obviously you're not going to want to procrastinate as much anymore, because you know what is on the line. So yeah, you just kind of have to look at it like that in different little ways and make things fun and do it in increments. The key is increments, okay? Don't expect yourself to get it done in a whole fucking day unless you're just like, let's go, like that kind of energy. So yeah, just give yourself enough time, give yourself enough space, and especially mentally when you're ready to do it, because if you're not, you're gonna have a hard time even just getting up and like doing the little routine to get yourself there. And my suggestion is, if you're just like not ready, to take a couple days off and like relax and chill and, you know, give yourself that time to be by yourself. And then maybe if you feel like doing it, just do it. You know, you don't have to rush yourself, just do it on your own time. I think that's also the key. But if you're on a specific timetable, like a client or someone else, of course, you got to figure out your shit if you want to keep doing what you want to do. Okay, so that was super raw, but thank you guys so much. I love making these advice videos for you. And you know what? Even though I procrastinated on this video, I always feel so good after I film it and I'm editing it and I'm like, let's go. And I'm telling you, that enthusiasm, that new energy, it's literally adrenaline, it's dopamine, you know? And I'm like, I'm killing it. And I don't feel so bad about procrastinating anymore, because I'm like, I did it. So yeah, I'm wishing you guys the best of luck. And if you have a specific question about procrastination, message me and we can talk all about it. Bye.